And the topic for today is, has there ever been a moment, or specifically, what was the moment that made you consider stop watching wrestling entirely?
So there's two that stick out for me, one of which we have talked about in one of our previous podcasts, and one was an injury, which was Lita's the neck.
Right.
When she, that hideous move. It literally made me want to stop watching.
So is that when she dived through the second and top rope, concertinaed herself on top of Trish and did a scorpion? Yep.
So there's that one. But, it did make me want to stop, but then it's kind of also like a car crash, because you kind of don't want to watch, but also want to look at what's happened as you go past. So that was that. The other stuff that I didn't like was the era of the Kiss My Ass Club.
Oh, that is an excellent shout.
Really just didn't understand it. Didn't really get the impact of what it was, apart from let's shame all these people and embarrass them. And also, as a owner of a company, why?
Well, it's a Vince McMahon ego trip. That's entirely what it was.
Oh, and it really just put me off watching, because I knew that every episode or something I watched, it was just going to be something else, and I was going to see his arse again. Yeah. I'm all right, thanks.
It was just that, but he would do it to people that I guess to be fair, to have the most impact, he had to do it to people that people like seeing, like Jim Ross. I mean, the man's had like 2 or 3 bouts of, what's it? I only said cerebral palsy, but it's not. It's I've completely forgotten the name of the Bell's palsy.
Yes.
He's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, maybe don't put his face in your arsehole.
No, I just don't understand it. I didn't understand it then. I understand it even less now.
Could you imagine? I don't know if he did it with any women. I don't think he did.
Trish.
Did he actually?
Pretty sure Trish was one of them.
Not Trish.
Pretty sure.
Oh,
Didn't she also have the segment with him where she literally had to snog his face off?
Several.
Also,
but she's not the only one.
I'm going to get paid a lot of money to do that.
100%. How much are we talking? What would your price be to snog Vince McMahon?
This was not the day of Christmas I was expecting.
No, but we've arrived.
How much? Like a proper full-on pash sesh?
Pash sesh. Yes, one of those. Just looking at my wallet. Hang on.
A couple of grand at least.
A couple of grand. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. If he slips a tongue in, I want more though.
Okay. And the
that
kiss,
is the rule.
Yeah, still talking about a kiss, all right?
Sure.
Okay, so does the tongue... so if it's standard 2K for a kiss... So
definitely not
slipping in there. No, we're here now. This is it. Day 3.
Okay.
So
great.
Does the tongue, does that double the price? Okay, sure. Fine. So we're like 4 grand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyone out there got 4 grand? You know how to email us.
God.
But I was going to say with the Vince McMahon thing, like, I would love to know and be a fly on the wall to how that's brought up to the people backstage that's going to happen. And I'm sure it's been written about in books. In fact, I think I've read about it in one of JR's books. But imagine him just coming up to you and go, "Hiya, pal, I'm going to bury your face in my ass." And then you have to go, "Oh, no, I don't want that, actually."
No, I don't know. And I just remember seeing it being like, this is grim. But wasn't wasn't William Regal like...
Yeah, he did the little posh kiss though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was the only one that didn't have to have his head...
shove his schnoz in there.
Because I think Shane McMahon got his head put in his dad's arse as well.
There's so many people. It's just boggling.
But it's it's one of those...
Unnecessary.
Unnecessary is the word. But I think with Vince, it's one of those weird things that it entertained him and therefore it was seen as a valid thing to do. Another thing that Vince has...
Imagine doing that now.
Who am I putting?
Not you, but I mean in general, if they did that now.
No. I can imagine Vince trying to do it now, to be fair. Who would he do? They'll just put Roman Reigns' face in his ass or something.
I mean,
like that.
Fine.
Yeah, brilliant. But with Vince, it's like one of those weird idiosyncrasies he has as a human being. Another one that he has, and it was in the, I think it was Beyond the Mat documentary, where, do you remember, well, you might not, but Darren Drozdoff, he was applying to be in the company. He died actually fairly recently. Bless him. There's a very sad story behind that, which I won't put on this episode. But he was talking to Vince McMahon, and then Vince McMahon found out that he could basically make himself puke on command. And he was like, "Do it. I want to see it." And so they're in this boardroom or meeting room.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon's doing his... I don't know if you ever heard him on commentary or any snippets of him on commentary from back in the 80s and 90s and the over-the-top voice.
Oh, yeah.
So he was doing that. So Droz had a bin in front of him, was leaning over trying to retch into it, and Vince McMahon going, "He's gonna puke, he's gonna," and it was just the weirdest. It's like he walked in on a sexual fantasy or fetish convention. It was bizarre, but it's just weird stuff like that. Another weird thing that Vince McMahon has is he cannot stand sneezing.
Really?
Because it shows a lack of control in one's own
God,
body.
I'd be screwed.
But so is everyone. But he will get angry at the person for sneezing in his presence. Because, like I said, it shows a lack of self-control.
Jesus
like people
Christ.
are choosing to sneeze. Anyway, I'm sure we could have a whole bloody episode on Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So there was a couple for me
in
terms of wanting to stop watching. One of them was when Eddie Guerrero died. That hit me really hard.
Yeah.
That hit me really, really hard. And then a lot of the knock-on things that happened after Eddie Guerrero died. Rey Mysterio being given the world title.
Yeah.
If it was merited in terms of the way it was done in the story, without having to lean upon this having happened, I wouldn't have been as bothered with it.
Right.
But for me, when Eddie Guerrero died, I just thought, it just really took the wind out of me. And I thought, I don't want to get invested in other people to see them die. That's the first incident that I thought of that really made me not want to watch.
Because effectively, if you don't watch it, it doesn't
then
affect you
it
as
doesn't
much.
matter. Then I'm not saying then everyone can die.
No,
I'm fine with it
I get what
carrying
you're
on.
saying.
But that for me was a big one. And if I go back a little bit further, because I remember I wasn't watching weekly at the time, but I remember seeing snippets of it and reading about it in the magazines.
Yeah.
And this is probably going to be brand new news to you, but at the tail end of WCW in late 2000 or summer 2000, they had a change of the World Heavyweight title, and two different people held this title in a fairly short period, and both of them, it's ridiculous. One of them you might not even know the name of, to be fair. The other one you will. So does the name Vince Russo mean anything to you?
No.
Okay, so Vince Russo, well known within the wrestling business for being one of the creative minds behind the Attitude Era. Now, I could tell you chapter and verse about how that went down, but he was given a lot of credit for the success of quite a few things that happened in the Attitude Era. He then went to WCW for a massive pay increase, got heavily involved in the shows, and I'm pretty sure he briefly held the WCW World Heavyweight Champion. A writer who used to, at one point, he was known as Vic Venom, and did articles for the WWF magazine before he went on to the creative team there. So that, I mean, imagine a writer for WWE getting that now. That's ridiculous. And also, David Arquette was a WCW
Oh my God, yes, I do know
World
that.
Heavyweight Champion.
I did know that. Because
he's
I
a
didn't
wrestler now.
understand that.
He does wrestling now.
It's weird.
But, and I remember thinking at the time, what's the point? I just thought, you've basically made a mockery of me for wanting to watch this.
Yeah.
I felt like I'd been taking the piss out of, and at the age of, what would I have been, 12, I remember being angry, like genuinely angry that they thought that was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think it was around about that time where I thought I could do a better job of this, and as a 12-year-old you shouldn't be thinking that.
No.
It was for a company of this size, but when you still had people in the company, like Goldberg was still there,
Yeah.
Booker T was still there,
Yeah. Still got a lot of credible people.
even Jeff Jarrett, who I never think's a world heavyweight championship wrestler or should never hold a world title, he was still there. I'd rather have that
Yeah.
than that. Scott Steiner.
It would make sense, at least.
Yeah, exactly. DDP. Just there was a lot of people that could have had it, but the problem is that, and I guess this touches upon a wider issue for me, is playing hot potato with titles. I don't like seeing it. I don't like seeing, this person won it, then 2 days later they lost it again, then it's gone back to this person, because then it means nothing.
No.
And I know...
Whereas I don't like them having it for too long. Roman Reigns.
Yeah, well, okay, but that's like a throwback to a bygone era as well. But I get it. There still needs to be a point where he goes, this is the logical conclusion.
Now,
move on.
Yeah, but no, I understand your point. It's point. It also deems the championship invalid to me.
And I mean, we all know the deal with wrestling. We've said it before. It ultimately, it doesn't matter because you don't have to be the best. You just get decided to be the champion, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But I've still got to believe in something or care. It needs to have some sort of meaning.
Surely.
And it just absolutely didn't. And that, I mean, don't get me wrong, WCW were going to die. That the wheels had been set in motion way before that, but that was just horrendous. Just horrendous. I'm trying to think of what was happening in WWF at the time. So it would have been what? Early 2000s. Oh yeah, no, that was still banging. No, that was really good. Yeah, I was thinking. So you had all your favourites were in there doing bits. But yeah, no, this was just a very dark day. The one that I know we'll touch upon it on a later episode, but the whole Chris Benoit thing.
Yeah.
That was obviously awful, but as bad as it might sound, the Eddie Guerrero one, really, that was the first punch. That just felt like someone hit me a second time after the first punch, so it didn't quite land the same. And
I
also
think
felt
because there's no mention of it, which I understand.
Yeah.
But there was no, because of the reasoning, shall we say, I think obviously the Eddie one was a big deal, whereas the Chris Benoit one effectively kind of wasn't swept under the carpet, but there was a lot of no mention of his name anymore, a lot of his stuff taken off the network. And now when you do see one of the matches on the network where he's in it, you're like, oh, wow.
But what they have to do, what they were doing on the network, because obviously when he died the network wasn't a thing. No. But you're right, they stopped mentioning his name. In the media, obviously this was massive. This could have been bigger, but inside the bubble of WWE, it was like, this didn't happen. Because obviously they did a tribute show for him at first, because they didn't know the circumstances of it. And then after that, it was, I only said dead in the water, but that's so unfortunate choice of wording on my part. And it, like I said, it felt, it sounds dumb, because wrestling obviously isn't real. And in my head, I think my brain just went, this isn't real.
Yeah, no, I think it's hard to sometimes get your brain to draw the conclusion that although the event isn't real, actually their real life is. Yeah. And it is quite hard to. And my brain just literally went, that. No, I can't accept that this has happened. Not the fact that I never thought, he didn't do it. No. My brain just went, I can't accept that this series of events has happened. No. But like I said, it all stemmed from the Eddie Guerrero one. Yeah. And I think they would be the ones like David Arquette, because I hate when stupid things happen in wrestling. Do you? From people outside, so that was it. I'm amazed that you didn't say someone using a massive hand to hit a pro wrestler. Johnny Knoxville. No, sorry, right. I'm drawing this episode to an end once again. We're not talking about the Johnny Knoxville match unless I can't wait to watch it. Well, let's hope it's not for some time.